Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is the top 5 and we'll be having a look at the top 5 bad guys from the Masters of the Universe range. And we'll actually include the She-Ra range in this as well. So we'll be having a look at across all mediums. So it won't just be the TV show, it will be based on that, as well as the actual toy line, the comics, pretty much everything. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to give my number 5, then I'll pass over to Steve here and he'll give you his personal top 5 and we'll get on from there. So we'll start off with my number 5 favourite bad guy in the He-Man universe is Leech. Now Leech was actually from the She-Ra show. He didn't really have a lot to do, to be fair. He didn't really speak all that much, but he looks quite formidable. He was kind of one of the bigger, sort of chunky characters from the She-Ra show. He's kind of quite formidable, quite sort of strong and everything. But he had quite a cool power. I mean, you can get a lot of these sort of characters had kind of quite kind of lame powers, but this guy could actually sort of attach himself to you and kind of drain all the life force out of you. So he had a fairly good power and would be quite formidable, and he kind of looked quite cool. His figure was a bit crap, I have to say, but in the cartoon show I really liked him. So Steve, you need the next.
Okay, so my number 5 is Grizzlor, and he's from the She-Ra universe. I wasn't really into the cartoon myself, but I quite like the toy line, so I'm going from that perspective. And I quite like the look of Grizzlor. He's kind of he was very big, big hair, very furry, brown fur. And it was like proper, like synthetic fur. You know, with a kind of ferocious face. I like the figure. It was a good figure.
Cool.
I think it had the Hordak kind of symbol on his belt. So he was a member of the Horde. Yeah, I like the figure.
Cool. Well, for number 4, I'm going to go with, and he's got to be in the top 5 somewhere, and that's going to be Skeletor. So the Skeletor sort of iteration I personally like is the actual one from the cartoon show. And he was voiced by, I think Alan Oppenheimer did the voice. And, you know, he was kind of a camp character, but he had such, I don't know, kind of a real personality, I thought, for kind of a cartoon show, which was really developed to sell toys ultimately. But I really liked him. I loved the voice that he kind of had with the cartoon show. And I actually liked his design. I was kind of less keen on him in regards to the sort of the later iterations, in regards to the sort of the TV shows. But basically within the actual original cartoon show and kind of the comics as well, I did quite like him. So Steve, number 4.
Number 4 is Evil-Lyn. I kind of, with regards to her, she's kind of like a very kind of almost like a witch kind of character. She's again, I used to like the figure of her, and also in the film with Dolph Lundgren, she's also in that, and she's kind of
She's probably one of the best things in the film.
Yeah,
to be fair, actually, yeah.
As you kind of would expect her character to be. I don't remember her so much from the cartoon. I can't really remember her in the cartoon, to be honest. But I'm going again from toy line because I was not so much into the cartoons, I was more into the figures. Yeah, she's my 4.
Okay, so my number 3 is going to be Scareglow, and I'm going for him purely for the toy line. Now he's actually one of the rarest figures you can get from the kind of the He-Man and the Master Universe actual toy line, and he was kind of described as Skeletor's ghost. I'm not 100% sure of his actual backstory, I have to say. I'm not sure if he's some sort of creation or whether he's actually Skeletor himself. I don't actually know. But I had him as a figure originally when it came out, and he was kind of this glow-in-the-dark figure, and I always had this kind of fascination with glow-in-the-dark stuff when I was younger. And that's part of the reason why I liked him. But I just thought he looked really cool. He kind of looked a bit like a sort of a Grim Reaper with a kind of a little bit of a crappy cape. But nevertheless, I thought he was a great figure, and I loved him because he was basically glow-in-the-dark. And I had kind of a bit of a fascination with the sort of skeletons and skulls when I was younger, so that's kind of why I liked him. Steve?
Okay, my number 3 is Trapjaw. Yeah, I think he's quite a cool character. He's obviously, again, I like the toy line. He's got like a metal jaw, and he's obviously been working out because he's quite muscular. In the cartoon, him and Beastman were always portrayed as being like pretty stupid, but I like the figure.
He had got lots of cool accessories and stuff, didn't he? That's the thing with him. You could actually make him almost talk, so you had to sort of articulate your jaw. So my number 2, someone you've already said, but it's going to be number 2. That's Evil-Lyn, and I like Evil-Lyn, and specifically I like her in the 2002 series of cartoons, and also sort of in the comics, because certainly within the 2002 cartoon, she is portrayed as essentially almost equal to Skeletor in regards to how powerful she was. So she was pretty much the most powerful out of Skeletor's minions, and she was really a capable character. She wasn't one of the sort of, a lot of the kind of bad guys you get kind of tend to be sort of dumb lunks basically, and kind of just like brainless henchmen. But Evil-Lyn is pretty much, even in the original cartoon to the point, she was always a more intelligent and but also a very powerful figure. And it's kind of nice to sort of see, you know, female bad guys, I think, you know, because you know, you don't get as many, do you? So, and I thought her design was very good. It's interesting that they chose to kind of go for a yellow look with her. I don't know if she's going to have jaundice or something, but anyway, she's kind of this weird sort of yellow sort of tinge to her skin, and she has this kind of short white hair if you ever see her with her helmet off. But I really liked her in the 2002 TV show, but I also liked her in the sort of series of comics as well. So, Steve, number 2.
Okay, number 2 is Hordak from the She-Ra universe. I like Hordak because he's quite demonic looking. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Skeletor. I like him as a figure. I just think he looks cool. I can't really remember him too much from the
He's actually changed significantly. So in the original sort of She-Ra sort of TV show, yeah, he was actually quite bumbling, to be honest, and was kind of a bit more sort of technology based. Whilst in the kind of the 2002 show, he was far more almost in a genuine threat, and a bit more kind of on the sort of magical side. And I think in the original series he was like Skeletor's tutor or something like that. I can't exactly remember. Cool. So my number 1 is Tri-Klops. Now Tri-Klops is one of these original henchmen that we've seen on the original TV show, and once again he's actually sort of changed. So the original iteration of Tri-Klops from the original show, he was actually kind of meant to be one of the stronger bad guys, and he'd almost be as strong as He-Man. This was kind of what they would say. And he had this kind of like visor which had 3 different kind of shapes ultimately, which would give him sort of different eye blasts. But he was changed significantly for the 2002 remake, and they kind of made him become a lot more sort of slender character, but he was a lot more sort of almost like a ninja-like, and they've kind of made him a sort of a technical genius, and he builds all the sort of the machines that ultimately kind of the evil warriors. So he was kind of both, and he was like an expert swordsman. So to me, he had pretty much the whole shebang with what he wanted. He was an intelligent bad guy. You know, he had good fighting skills. You know, he was a skillful warrior, and I actually kind of liked his look. You know, I thought he had quite a cool look. I quite like the sort of colour scheme, the sort of the green. It kind of made him almost a little bit more military looking. Even though, you know, it's like, and I quite like the fact he was human as well, because most Skeletor's bad guys are kind of monsters, but I quite liked Tri-Klops because he was human, pretty much anyway. So that I thought, you know, if you read the comics as well, he was kind of had quite an interesting backstory that was sort of, I believe in the I can't remember the publisher, I think it might have been IDW, but they kind of given this kind of quite interesting sort of backstory where he was kind of like this protector and ultimately got duped into becoming a bad guy. Anyway, so here's my number 1, Steve.
My number 1 is Skeletor. I just like Skeletor. He's a cool figure, and I liked him out of the cartoon. I liked his voice, as you've mentioned before. I just thought he was a good character all round, really. Yeah, definitely my favourite.
Cool. So what is your favourite top 5 bad guys from the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series? Let us know in the comments, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.